Alright, welcome back to Albie's Garage. Alright, so we're looking at the rear of the 350Z, and we're focusing in down here. Now, I just went through this arduous process of, like I was mentioning in my recent videos, I actually went down to a trip to the junkyard wrecker, and I had to go and buy this piece that you're looking at right now. This is a bumper reinforcement. It is made out of aluminum. It features a tubular style. If you look at there at on the right side, you can see like the mini piece that's tacked on, that's bolted on, and here you could see the two square tubes that are merged together and are actually one piece. And so this piece is extremely lightweight and impossible to rust. So one of the great things about the 350Z that I feel that is one of those talking points that's kind of hidden and not common on other cars is that it has aluminum pieces on the vehicle. This adds to be extremely lightweight. They obviously created a specialized piece here with the angles and everything, really interesting. But aside from that, this is a very strong piece, and it's true to the point where it made it up to my car perfectly. You can see the adapter pieces right there, and everything went on exactly as you would have expected. So, you know, coming in here, a lot of what I've been doing is preparing the vehicle now that I got involved with the exterior of the car while we're in a holding pattern for the mechanic. So, you know, I went ahead and cleaned up the exhaust actually by hand and cleaned all of this area up here. So a lot of this metal and stuff was wiped clean with water and cloth, and that's all you really usually need to do. A benefit of coming in here and doing the detailing, so to speak, is like, for example, this piece was a used piece and it had a lot of this sticky gummy stuff, and that kind of stuff, those oily stuff, those greasy stuff, has a lot of potential for fire, and you don't want anything like that around the exhaust area that gets really hot, and you don't want anything like that on the outside where you could have a car accident and then there's stuff that can catch on fire. So, you know, it's part of the safety. It's not really thought about, and most of the stuff doesn't apply, but it's completely unknown how that stuff got on there in the donor car. And, you know, it just was there and it had to be cleaned up, and I cleaned it up. So it's one of those things. Yeah, so we're here. We had to buy this piece for $50. So it was a little bit more than I wanted to spend. I don't know how much these pieces are online. Whatever the cost is, it had to be put back on. So we went in and did that in preparation. I've been kind of going through the wiring and everything, getting everything lined up. There's some modification done because there are LED blinkers. But basically, I went ahead and painted the rear bumper. This is an update. And so I wasn't planning on making a video at this point, but considering that there was something to be said, I went ahead and just, you know, took the time today to address this thing, including buying and transporting and cleaning, and then I made sure to have all bolts. And so in this case, and so what I learned today, very interesting, I learned this today. Now, the other piece that I saw did not have, I believe it did not have an additional fifth hole right here. On my 2006.5 vehicle, there is a nut that goes on. This piece is there, not removable. It's kind of like the bolt end. You know, it's through the metal. It's like whatever. It's in place, and it's like kind of like an alignment. It might be just for assembling things faster or whatever. But so those nuts go on. And then you have 4 bolts on this car. Now, on the earlier model, I believe that's what it is. This is a later model version of this. On the earlier model, I noticed that they used all of those nuts where there were already protruding bolt ends. So there was 4, and then There's 4 on each side, so there are 8 of those nuts. So that's a different configuration, and the trouble is with this one poking out like this and there was no hole here, I don't think it's compatible. So the newer one, which way does that go? The older one would not fit on my vehicle, and I caught that as I was comparing them. So I had a really odd, specific chance to look at the bumper reinforcement today for an older and a newer style, and I needed the newer style because of course my car is newer. So that just worked out, and I'm glad I caught that because I wasn't aware of that before today. So there were some slight differences on the car, very, very slight. And ultimately, modifications can be made and stuff can be adapted or whatever. But like, I think that I got the right one, and it made me not have to modify anything, which is great. And we have all the bolts restored, so we're doing a bit of a restoration on this car. And I think that this is just going to be better all around. So that's really just an update video. That's kind of the reason why I'm making this. And yeah, the next thing, now that the rear bumper is painted, we're getting close to attaching the rear bumper. So I have a feeling that I'm going to be attempting to attach the rear bumper and then put like the turn signals and all the stuff in place and try to get the bumper situated and hopefully just tidy it up and all that, and then put like the license plate on and stuff like that. I want to get the rear all set up where the turn signals can be seen and nothing's hanging and all that, so the cover will be on, and then I have to like check some clearances and stuff for the exhaust and stuff like that, and just get this all done. And then, like, you know, there's going to be some little fixes and stuff that I have to do to make it fit and adapt, because there's a little bit of damage here and there on the sides, but I'll make it fit. And so that's the plan for what's coming next on the Z before it goes into the shop, which is coming in a couple days. It seems like that's been happening. Like, I've been planning to do that, and I'm actually scheduled. They actually called me yesterday to confirm about the parts regarding I told them I want the new tensioner and the new guides for the timing chain. And I guess they wanted to make sure that I didn't buy them so they don't double buy the parts. So that kind of thing is going on, to give you an update about what's going on. And what else can I say? The car is scheduled to go in Saturday morning. And I would like to have a couple things done. So I think, and I hope, and I think what's going to happen is it's going to get an oil change. So I actually went ahead and bought some new oil for the car and a new oil filter, and I went further and I bought a brand new drain plug, and I got the correct washer gaskets so that there's no leaks down there, and I want to get that correct. Unfortunately, I think this is one of those cars that AutoZone or O'Reilly will give you the wrong kind of oil plug, gasket. There's a multitude of them. There's a few. I think there's a metal, there's a plastic, and there's like a nylon style, and I think they've tried to give me one that didn't fit correctly. It was floating around, and what happened with that is if it wasn't sitting exactly right, it would cause a leak. So that's not good. So the ones I'm recalling from Nissan, I think they're copper material is what it looks like. Very interesting. So they're a special metal type, and they have like a lip on them, I think, that goes around, so you put it on there and it kind of aligns itself, I guess, and then you put the bolt. And it's kind of like a cup, I guess. And so what it does is it prevents leaking, and it tries to make a good seal. So it's very interesting about that. I don't know why they use that specific kind, but that's what it seems to be. So we got that to do the oil change right. And then there's one other thing that I'm going to mention for the first time, again, just for like what's going on. I don't like that sometimes, unfortunately, this is one of the curses of the 350Z. The clutch sometimes gets stuck in a low position. What is happening is it's not bad because the clutch still engages. You obviously put your foot underneath and you lift it. It only gets stuck a little bit every once in a long while, but it's starting to happen. So what I want the mechanic to, I think, redo the clutch fluid. So if we can get that clean and then kind of test and recheck it, I think that there's basically three things, and that's one of them. And the other thing could be down there where the clutch is actually going on the floor. There's something that can be adjusted or fixed, maybe. And then the other thing is, of course, I think it's the whatever master cylinder, slave cylinder for the clutch, or whatever it is. So I think those are the three things. And so I hope that just doing the fluid, or possibly having to do, once the fluid is done, come in and check down at the baseboard or floorboard for the clutch. And then I want to get that good. It would be a nicer driving experience if that's addressed. And then I'll with good oil, fresh gas, and a working clutch, and then all that stuff addressed, I should actually be able to drive the car. What a concept. So I'll talk more about what else I'm going to have done, but that's it. Catch you on the next video. Make sure you subscribe, like, dislike, comment. Bye!